Good evening, everybody. Mike Naso here from the YouTube Tropical Video Updates page with the first tropical update of the 2019 Atlantic hurricane season. Last time I saw you, we had a Category 5 hurricane make landfall in the Florida Panhandle. And of course, that was very, very devastating and a very historic hurricane event. We've only had four Category 5s make landfall, and the fourth one was Michael of last year. Well, we don't have any Hurricane Michaels out there today, but we do have an interesting scenario that's going to be unfolding over the Gulf Coast in the next couple of days I'm going to talk about. You can see as hurricane season draws on, the official start is June 1st and then it ends November 30th. But really, any time of year you want to keep an eye just in case something pops up. Right now, we are right about here. And as you can see, it does get very active in August. Late August, it spikes way up, and then September 10th is the peak of hurricane season. But it does not mean we don't have hurricanes that have developed, as you can see through history, earlier in the year. Now, we do have a feature out there that is currently a trophy area of low pressure over the state of Georgia. And our computer models, all of them, the European, the GFS, the Canadian, they all show this area of low pressure moving south, then southwest off the Florida Panhandle in the next 2 days, and then probably developing. And as you can see, there is red. There is a high likelihood that in 5 days we will have development, 80% chance from the National Hurricane Center that we will have a tropical cyclone form. By the way, we did have a very weak and short-lived storm named Andrea a couple of months ago. So if this is named, it will be named Barry. I've tracked a couple of Barrys on these 6-year rotating name lists. Hopefully this Barry won't be something we'd have to be too concerned with. However, it could be a feature that Louisiana and Texas might have to deal with. Look at this beautiful visible satellite image as the sun goes down over Georgia and Alabama. Look at those thunderstorms popping up. It's like a petri dish out there. And you can see the rotation of the low pressure is very weak and quite possibly not really at the surface. But you can see the turning. Do you see that little turning in here? This is all going to spread over the panhandle down into the Gulf of Mexico. And this is where our trouble area will be. Because what the forecast models are showing is that in 2 days, a low pressure area will develop over water and develop into a tropical storm. Although the models diverge a little bit, it is something that seems very likely to occur. Of course, we've got high pressure off towards its east. We've got a high off in the west. And right now you can see the trophiness moving towards the southwest. And that should eventually steer it in a westward direction, in the general direction of Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. Here are those computer models, and you can see they all initialize it right where that area is over Georgia, broadly, and move it south, southwest, and then after that they kind of diverge 3-4 days out. Some are looping it closer to the coast, some are moving it more towards Texas, and as well as intensity. Some keep it kind of a ragged, weak tropical depression or storm. Others want to make it a hurricane, and that's going to be a big factor. Level wind shear should actually be quite favorable for development. Based on what I'm seeing, I don't see anything significant to stop it from strengthening once it develops, other than how close it gets to land. So if it moves closer to land, it's probably inland quicker, further east, and has less time to develop. If it moves further to the west or even west-southwest and gets out here over the water more and heads towards Texas, then it would have a chance to potentially even become a hurricane or even a stronger hurricane prior to landfall. So again, this is all speculative, but it is we do have a catalyst for this event that we have over Georgia, and we have forecast models telling us that this will likely happen, and so it is worth watching. Water temperatures are no problem. They're very, very warm. Beachgoers in the Florida Panhandle, even over to Louisiana, very, very warm waters to work with. So again, if upper level winds are favorable and you have a system with warm water, then it will likely develop as long as it can stay over the water, because obviously once a storm hits land, it loses the water, which is its fuel source, and would not develop. Here's a look at some of the computer models. You can see the European model, which performs pretty well, to be honest, with the tropics, has a hurricane coming in to the North Texas coast, maybe Louisiana, and that would be, what day would that be? Let's go back how many hours? You're talking 72, 96. This is about 120 hours. So clearly it keeps it over water longer, kind of digs it west-southwest, and that would keep it over those high-octane oceanic heat content waters for strengthening, which is why it shows a much stronger system than what other computer models like the GFS show. You can see the GFS keeps it very weak and brings it over areas of Louisiana and then towards Texas with heavy rainfall as well. The Canadian model, a little bit stronger than the GFS. You can see a hurricane into southeast Louisiana, and it is showing the landfall of, at the very least, a strong tropical storm. That to me looks like a minimal hurricane, 114 hours. So again, this would probably be by July 13th. So you're talking Friday, Saturday would likely be the time. But again, we don't really have a named system yet. We're just speculating based on that low pressure area. But the fact that all three of these models show it, other models show it, we have that low pressure over Georgia, the waters are hot, I'm thinking we're going to see something develop. You can see the radar imagery there. Despite all those high cloud tops on the visible, there aren't too many thunderstorms, just popcorn storms, but it's very muggy, very moist, very humid, very hot. And this is all going to move over the Gulf of Mexico, and it is hurricane season. Okay? So we're going to keep a close eye on it, and we'll have more updates as the system progresses. If you live in areas, in particular Louisiana and Texas, but anywhere back towards the Florida Panhandle, keep a close eye on this one just in case we do get that development. I'm Mike Naso, and I will talk to you guys next time.